Welcome back. This is the video on geometric sequences, and it's very similar to arithmetic sequences in terms of what you need to be able to figure out. I'm going to want you to be able to say, oh, I'm looking at the sequence and it is geometric, or it's arithmetic, or it's neither. I'm going to want you to be able to find an nth term and then actually write a rule. And a lot of people think geometric is actually easier to work with, but we will see what you think as we go along. So what's different about geometric versus arithmetic is how you get from one step to the next. So this is a geometric sequence right here. So let's see what the step is between them. And so you might start out saying, okay, well, to go from 4 to 8 was just plus 4. But then when you go from 8 to 16, it's plus 8. So not arithmetic. So what do we do? Next thing to try is there a multiplier or divider? And so geometric means that a number is multiplied for every step. So if I want to multiply 4 to get to 8, it's times 2. Let's see if that works. 8 to 16 is also times 2. 16 to 32 is times 2. And 32 to 64 is times 2. Yay. And like we had D in arithmetic, we call that R. And so R, as our multiplying factor, is going to be 2. Oh, I didn't write that very nicely. So R is equal to 2. It's also sometimes called the common ratio. And geometric mean is just a definition that if you have two positive numbers, the positive square root of the product of the two numbers is called the geometric mean. Right? A little bit of vocabulary there. So we're just going to start right out with practicing like we did with arithmetic. And so the difference here, again, is that you have a multiplying factor instead of an adding factor. And you might do the same thing here. You might say, okay, well, 3 to 6 is a plus 3. But then if I try to add plus 3, I don't get to 12, so that didn't work. So I'm going to check and see multiplying. So what times 3 is equal to 6? That's a times 2. What times 6 is 12? That's a times 2. And what times 12 is 24 is a times 2. So that's good. Now those of you who are going to use your calculator, you actually can do that easily. I'm doing the multiplying in my head, but you can take any two successive numbers and divide them. So to find the multiplying factor, you can do 6 divided by 3. 12 divided by 6, because those two terms are 12 and 6, or 24 and 12. And each time you're going to get the correct number, so you get 2. So therefore, R equals 2. So let's practice it that way for a minute. So I'm going to look right here, and I'm going to take my second term, and I'm going to divide it by the first. And if I do it in my head or my calculator, I'm going to get minus 3. So now let's do the next two. So I'm going to say, okay, the second term is 27 in that pair. And I'm going to divide that by minus 9. And I'm going to get minus 3. And then I'm going to check the last pair. So I'm going to say, okay, the second of those two is minus 81. The number before was 27, which also gives me a minus 3. So R is equal to minus 3. All right, let's go down here. And if I look at 5 divided by 1, I get 5. So the next pair is 9 and 5. So 9 divided by 5 is not 5. So this is not geometric. just for kind of fun, let's see if it is arithmetic. So if I go from 1 to 5, that step would be a +4. From 5 to 9 is also a, +4. And so I'll see pretty quickly that each step is +4. So wow, tricky one. That is arithmetic. And d is equal to +4. All right, let's look at one more example here. So -12 is the second in the pair, and 48 was the first. So how did I get from 48 to -12? Well, if I divide those, I'm going to find -12 divided by 48 is 1/4. Then let's check the next. Remember, it's always the second term over the one before. And you're going to find that it's also equal to -4. So this is geometric. And r is equal to -1/4. So tricky. You can have fractions. R can be a fraction. All right, find the sixth term. I think we need to know something before we try to figure this out, but I'll show you the long way. So let's see. 3, -15, and 75. Let's figure out what r is. It does look geometric, so hopefully it is. So let's find r. So remember, take the first two terms, put the second one on top. You're going to get -5. Look at the next pair. Put the second one on top, 75 over -15. You're going to get -5. So r is equal to -5. All right, so the next term in this series is, and I actually need a calculator for this, so let me go off to my computer. 5 times -5 is, the next one is -375. Let's see, I can multiply that times -5, and I get 1875. And I can multiply that by -5, and I get -9375. So that's the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth term. However, that is not a feasible solution.